Hola chicos, bienvenidos. Mi nombre es Juani, the Spanish Subjunctive. Today we're going to break it down for you and go through the basics so that you can not only become familiar with it, but also so that you can actually start introducing it into your Spanish conversations. Now, going back a few years ago, I used to think that I could get away with learning Spanish without using the subjunctive. However, I quickly changed my mind because I realized that native speakers use the subjunctive all the time, and if you're not aware of how to use the subjunctive, it is going to severely restrict what you're able to express in the language. Now, of course, if you're a beginner and you're looking to just be able to go to a Spanish-speaking country, be able to have a basic conversation with a native speaker, maybe order food or ask for directions in the language, then in that case, yes, you can get away with not learning the Spanish subjunctive. However, if you're like me, if you want to get a deeper understanding of the language and be able to express yourself so much more on a deeper level, then the subjunctive is definitely something that you'll need to be aware of. Now, with that being said, let's jump straight into it. Before we go through some examples in Spanish, we need to first understand why do we use the subjunctive, or more importantly, when do we use the subjunctive in Spanish? Let me explain this by going through this example. If I were to say in English, I want you to help me with my homework, you'll notice here that there's a subject change through the sentence. So we start off by saying I want, but then the subject changes to you. I want you to help me with my homework. So when there's a subject change in the sentence, that's a trigger for the subjunctive. So in this case, I would say, Quiero que me ayudes con mi tarea. Quiero que me ayudes con mi tarea. So if we take a closer look at that example, you'll notice that the conjugation of the verb ayudar, in this case, ayudes, is different because it's conjugated in the present subjunctive form. So that's what separates the subjunctive apart in English from Spanish. In English, we don't have to have different conjugation sets for the subjunctive when we use it. However, in Spanish, we do. Now, I hope that's starting to make sense, but if it's not quite hitting the point yet, don't worry, that's completely normal. Let's go for another example. If I were to say, I want you to improve your Spanish, I would say, Quiero que mejores tu español. Quiero que mejores tu español. Nice work. So if we take a closer look and break it down, you'll notice there's a subject change again. So I want you to improve your Spanish. So the subject changes from me over to you in this case, which triggers a subjunctive. Grammatically, how we form that is we conjugate the verb in the present indicative tense, yo quiero, so I want. We then put que after the verb, and then we put the other verb, mejorar, in this case to improve, in the tu form in the present subjunctive, which is mejores. So mejores, tu español. Now, one thing that really confuses a lot of people, I know it confused me quite a lot, was learning a different set of conjugations. However, if we really break it down, you'll see the conjugations are actually pretty simple. For example, using the verb mejorar to improve, in the present indicative tense in the tu form, it's mejoras, mejoras. However, you'll notice in the present subjunctive tense, it's mejores, mejores. So we simply change the A with regular AR verbs over into an E instead. And vice versa. For example, if we've got the verb aprender, to learn, in the present indicative tense, it is aprendes. So tú aprendes. However, in the present subjunctive tense, it is aprendas, aprendas. So IR and ER verbs in the present subjunctive, we simply change the E over into an A instead. As you can see, the conjugations are very simple. However, it does take a bit of time to get used to, of course, because you are learning a different set of conjugations, and there are irregular verbs as per normal as well. Now, I'm going to leave the conjugations for the present subjunctive in the description box below if you need to use them. But I think you're starting to understand now how it all works. Let's go through a few more examples, though, just to be on the safe side. I want you to learn Spanish. Quiero que aprendas español. Quiero que aprendas español. Again, if we break it down, you'll see there's a subject change. I want you, so the subject changes again over to you, to learn Spanish. So, quiero que aprendas español. This time, let's try another verb. Another very useful verb, using it in combination with the present subjunctive, is the verb to hope. So, using the conjugation, we'll start with the yo form, yo espero. So, I hope. So, if I wanted to say, I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, I would say, espero que disfrutes el resto del día. Espero que disfrutes el resto del día. I think you're starting to pick it up there. You'll see there's a subject change. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And you'll see we've got the verb disfrutar, to enjoy, in the present subjunctive tense. Let's try another one. I hope you finish your homework this week. Espero que termines tu tarea esta semana. Espero que termines tu tarea esta semana. Again, subject change. This time we're conjugating the verb terminar, to finish, in the present subjunctive. So instead of terminas, which it is in the present indicative, we've got it termines in the subjunctive form. Moving forward, let's try and put this into practice. I'll give you 10 seconds. If I were to say, I want you to speak with your brother, how would I say that in Spanish? In this case, you'd say, Quiero que hables con tu hermano. Quiero que hables con tu hermano. Nice job. Now, I hope this makes sense. However, if it doesn't make any sense to you whatsoever, don't worry too much about it. It is completely normal. It does take time for you to start to decipher how everything works and start to figure out how everything comes together. But just remember, slowly but surely over time, you will start to piece all the pieces together. Now, I would encourage you to have a look online at a few examples. Also, don't be afraid to try using a few examples in the next few conversations you have in Spanish also. I would also appreciate it if you would hit that like button if you got any value from this video. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you've got any questions whatsoever that I can help with, also, please don't hesitate to leave a question or a comment in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next one. Hasta pronto.